Good morning, creators, and welcome to another UEFN tutorial. In this episode, I'm covering the most requested tutorial, which is, of course, the Tycoon tutorial. In this episode, you're going to learn all of the mechanics to do with Tycoons, or I can't speak today. Let me re-record that. Good morning, creators, and welcome to another UEFN tutorial. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create a Tycoon using Verse and so you'll have like currency mechanics and tycoon mechanics, and I'll show you how to design it modularly so that you can connect all these devices together, make it flow very well. Of course, like adjusting the rates at which you get things, displaying it on the UI, having different kinds of currencies. These are the kind of things I want to cover in this tutorial, and just to prove that it is not that difficult, we're going to do a whole tycoon in just this one session. So let's get straight into it. All right, so with UEFN open, the first thing you want to do is go to the Verse Explorer, and you're going to want to create a new file. We are going to call this file the currency manager, like that, and create that. Give it a second. Double click that to open it in the Verse area. All right. So for the currency manager, we could have multiple currencies. So I wanna just enable us right off the bat to have different kinds of currencies. I know most maps usually just go with gold or whatever. The currency manager is going to store a number per each player, and so instead of using a physical currency, it's going to use a number. So we're going to create a class type here. We're going to call this the currency class, and it's going to be a concrete class. I guess it doesn't have to be concrete, but it doesn't hurt to not have it as concrete. Let's make it concrete. Yeah. First, we're gonna have an editable, and it's gonna be called currency name. That's gonna be a string, of course. You can just make that an empty string for now. Currency name, pretty self-explanatory. Whatever you want to call this currency, that's gonna go there. In fact, we could have like currency symbol right below. That'll also be a string, or it could be a character, or it could be whatever you want it to be. Of course, when we're referencing it in a UI, if it's like money, you want to have a dollar sign here. If you don't want a symbol, we'll just leave it as an empty string, just to give you an option to have that symbol, of course. So, of course, this is going to be integer, so we want to have a var, which is going to be an int, which is going to be of type. Oh, it's just going to be int. We'll call it my currency. And this is going to be an integer, and we're going to set that to equal to 0. So your currency by default is 0. And we could probably set up verse persistence later, but I'll save that for another video. So you have your currency class, which has the currency name and the currency symbol. So now in your currency manager, you're going to want to store this per player. So in fact, let's remove that and make those variables, right? It makes a little bit more sense to me. All right. We're going to create a function to just copy this. So let's we're going to create a function in our currency manager called register. It's going to pass an agent, which is going to be our player, of course. And inside of this, we're going to initialize our currencies. So we're going to have a map in our currency manager called currency per player. It's going to be of type agent, and then it's going to store an optional tuple, and this tuple is going to have a currency class. We're going to make it this actually instead of a tuple, let's just do an array of currency classes. Pretty simple. That's going to be a map. So when we register the player, we're going to want to set this map so that we can access this when we need to. So we will copy our currency. So we're going to have an at editable currency types, type, we'll call this currency class. This will be an array. Let's make those editable variables. Cool. So in our currency types, we're going to define our name, our symbol, of course. By default, the currency is 0 so that we don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. So when we register, we want to copy this data into our own currency. So we'll create a function up here called copy currency. And this is going to take a currency class. So we'll do cc of type currency class. And it's going to return a currency class. All right. So return currency class. And then we're going to have currency name is going to be cc.currency name. And currency symbol is going to be cc.currency symbol. Cool. So it's going to return your currency class. It's going to allow you to copy all your currencies. So in our register function, we're going to have a variable called currencies. And this is going to be an array of currency classes. This is going to be, of course, an array. So initialize it as an array. And then we're going to do for currency and currency types. We're going to do set currencies plus equal to array. And we'll do copy currency C. And that will set our array with all these currency types so that our player has them. And then finally, we need to set that into our player map. So if set currency per player at agent equal to option currencies. And nextly, we need to get a function that will get these values. So we're call this get currency, get currencies with a of type agent. It's going to return our currency classes as an array, of course. So we're going to do if currency per player at this agent. We'll call this val. So val is equal to currency per player at that index. We're going to return val because it's already an array. Otherwise, we're just going to return nothing. So return array, which will be an empty array. It should normally return that val. So that's your entire currency class device. Pretty easy. And now we're going to make our Tycoon manager. So Tycoon manager.verse. I'm going to copy some of the libraries over because that's just faster for me. All right. So of course, we're going to call this a Tycoon manager device. This is going to be a class creative device like so. Nextly, we're going to create the Tycoon module device. So same process. We're going to copy these libraries so I don't have to type them out again. And we'll call it Tycoon module. This will be a class, which is a creative device, of course. All right, so the Tycoon module, the way this is going to work is it's going to work multiple ways where you have inputs and you have outputs. So when it receives an input, if it has received all of the inputs, it will activate this Tycoon module. Otherwise, it's going to do nothing until all inputs are given. Once it has been purchased, it's going to give out outputs. And it's also going to have a variable say like if it's enabled at game start or not. So at editable enabled at game start. This is going to be a logic. And by default, we're going to set this to false because most of your modules are going to be disabled. since Tycoons are progressive and most of them are going to be closed. You're going to have inputs, editable inputs of type array Tycoon module. And this is going to be an array. And then you have editable outputs of type Tycoon module, which is an array. So the way outputs work is when this is purchased, it's going to send that out. I mean, I already explained this, so let me just keep going. So the inputs will always send events to this Tycoon. In fact, I don't think I even need to have inputs here. Like, inputs are purely cosmetic. So I'm just going to have a note here. Inputs are cosmetic if you need to, like, track stuff. So if you want to, like, know that things are connected, you might want to list your inputs here. Actually, wait, no. I guess they aren't cosmetic because you still have to store. Yeah, so leave your inputs there. You need to store stuff. And so we're going to have a variable here called collected inputs. By default, this is going to be 0, so int of 0. And so we're going to have a function here called collect input. It's not going to pass anything. It's going to return nothing. It's just going to set collected inputs plus equal to 1. And then it's going to check if collected inputs is equal to inputs.length. This is going to verify that that all the inputs have happened. If they have, that means we need to enable. So we're going to call it enable. Enable will define here. Return nothing. This is going to turn on our purchasing system. This is going to turn on all that. That's something we will decide in a second. So we'll just, for now, we'll call this enable print. And after that, we need to have a purchased button or purchased function. So when something is purchased, you want to output on all the outputs. So we'll do for O in outputs. We will do O dot collect input, like so, and that ties the whole thing together. Of course, you need to get the purchase. So we'll do attempt purchase, which will be a void. It should be attempt purchase with an agent. Also in our Tycoon module, we want to have our currency manager. So we're going to store that as a variable. So we'll call this currency manager. So currency manager of type currency manager is equal to currency manager. Of course, go back into our currency manager. We are going to create a tag. So tags are going to help us just do this a lot faster, so you don't have to do this for every single module you create. It's just going to be more efficient that way. So first our org/simulation/tags. And so in our currency manager, we're going to create our currency manager tag, which is going to be a class tag, of course. So attempt purchase, we're going to print attempt purchase, like so. In our onBegin function for this device, we're going to call override suspense, like so. And then we're going to get this currency manager. So for CM in get creative objects with tag. And our tag, of course, is currency manager tag. So for all of those, we're going to do if C is equal to currency, we're going to typecast, so currency manager of CM. So if they are currency manager, we're going to set currency manager equal to C. And that way, all these modules, as long as that one currency manager has that tag, it will get it. So pretty convenient, pretty convenient. Now, of course, we're going to have to create a method for multiplayer, and I will do that in a part 2, multiplayer, which is not going to be much. It's going to be a short, very short tutorial, but that'll be a part 2. Attempt purchase. When this happens, remember that your Tycoon module needs to have a price, so editable price of type integer is equal to 0. Since we have multiple currencies, we're going to have editable currency index, which is going to be by default 0, which is just the primary currency, which is probably just going to be gold for y'all. And so you have price, you have currency index, and you have benefit, or the whatever you're purchasing. When it comes to this, it could be a lot of things. So we're going to have purchasing reward, and we'll call this a purchase reward, like so. And then we have, I'm going to call this the additional effects trigger, which is going to be a trigger device, of course. And so this trigger device is optional. You don't have to use this, but if you do, this is where you're going to tie like cinematics to, you're going to do all these other things too. So yeah. And additionally, while I'm at it, we should have an enable effects trigger. So whenever this device gets enabled, if there's anything you want to happen when this gets enabled, which you probably won't, but just so that you have this as an option, in our enable function, I will have the enable effects trigger dot trigger, like so. In our temp purchase, we are going to get our currency. So if currency is equal to get currencies, and we're going to use currency manager dot get currencies for A. All right, we got those. And then we're going to do if currency is equal to our currency manager at our currency index. Of course, here we're going to want to check if it is enough. So if price is greater than or equal to currency, yeah, we called it my currency, like so. If it is, we're going to set currency dot my currency minus equal to price, and we're going to call purchased. And so purchased is, it's going to call the additional effects trigger. And of course, it's going to activate those outputs. And so that's a basic functionality. Another thing I could add, and I will add in a future video, is using multiple currencies. So like if you had 2 currencies, you want to have this thing cost multiple currencies, that's how you do that. I'll mention that in another video. And then the Tycoon manager device is going to manage these modules. So really it's just going to register the player. So we have a currency manager. So currency manager. Like so. We also have, I think this is, I mean, the module is already activated, so I guess we'll have a trigger to register. So register trigger, type trigger device. equals trigger device. And so in our onBegin function, we're going to do register trigger dot triggered events dot subscribe and we'll call this register player. So register player. We're just going to have an maybe agent, so m of type optional agent. Return nothing. We're going to do if a is equal to m question mark. We're also going to have a registered agent already, so registered agent of type maybe agent equals false. So if a equals m and there's no registered agent, so and not registered agent, then we will set registered agent equal to m, like that. Cool. So that's a registered player. If somebody's already registered, it won't do anything. So I mean, it works pretty well. Looks pretty good. So I'll register the player, allow them to access the modules. In fact, the modules probably would be better suited if they access the Tycoon manager more than anything else. So fixing that here, you're going to want to access the Tycoon manager. So we're going to just like change the class a little bit. So instead of getting the currency manager tag, we'll change that to Tycoon manager tag. And we'll change currency manager to Tycoon manager, like that. And that will allow us to access the currencies as well as a Tycoon manager so that we can verify that whoever's accessing this module has access to it and it's not somebody who's like a other opponent or whatever. So that'll work very well. And lastly, we need to have the system to like showcase how much things cost. And so the modules are going to pull from this Tycoon manager. They're going to pull billboards from this, and they're going to spawn props. So when this is enabled, you're going to want to, oh, and also for the onBegin function, I forgot, for the modules, we want to do enable if it's enabled at game start. So if enabled at game start, we're going to do enable. Cool. Very simple. Like I was saying, we want to display this on the billboards. So we're going to pull from, on the enable, we're going to pull from our Tycoon manager. So Tycoon manager dot billboard. And so we are going to dynamically adjust these billboards so that no matter what, if it's taken up, it's going to not grab that billboard. If it's available, it's going to grab a billboard. So we'll call this var billboards of type, we'll call this available billboards. Available billboards of type billboard device is equal to, oh, it's going to be an array of billboard devices, of course. It's going to be equal to array. We're going to have an editable billboards, which is all the billboards you're going to use in this module. Of course, it's billboard device. That's going to be an array. So in our onBegin function in our Tycoon manager, we want to set available billboards equal to billboards, like so. And so now we can get our billboards from our enable function. So if b is equal to Tycoon manager device dot billboard available billboards, my bad, at index 0. So hold up, let me fix this real quick. Tycoon manager. Okay. So we're going to get our billboards from this Tycoon manager. Then we're going to set tm.available billboards equal to tm.available billboards dot remove all elements, and we'll have B in there. Actually, we can't use that, so we'll just do remove element, and then we'll have 0 there. And this is a decides function, so we have to have this in an if block. So if set, I think we have to, yeah, we have to do that. So we'll do val val is equal to that, and then we are going to set tm.available billboards equal to val. That way we've gotten rid of the billboards. The one that's being used is stored in this device, and we need to make sure we store it. So have a variable at the top called var cur billboard of type billboard device is equal to billboard device, like so. All right. And in our enable function, we want to set our cur billboard equal to B. And we also want to teleport it to this device. So teleport b.teleport to, and we're going to have another variable in here, which is going to be the billboard location, or we'll call this the module location. So module location of type vector3 equals vector3. Looks like we need to have the spatial math function. So go at the top, unrealengine.com/temporary/spatial math. Type it in. All right. We're going to have another editable, which is going to be called, actually, let's put this in the Tycoon manager since this is going to be used by all of them. We're going to call this the purchasing prop, which is going to be a creative prop asset, which is a default creative prop asset. And we have the can't purchase prop. Type creative prop asset is equal to default creative prop asset. Cool. So now we just gotta switch between not being able to purchase and being able to purchase. Pretty simple. You just do if able to purchase and okay. Yeah, just do something like that. That's what you should do. And you also want to teleport the billboard, of course. So teleport to module location. Plus, we'll call this the just a vector3, and this is going to be your billboard offset. I'd say Z should be probably around 100, just so it's above that prop. So the module location will be used for the prop, of course, and then you'll add a little bit to that for your billboard. And so now you just need to make sure that this follows the player. So that's pretty simple. You just get the rotation between the players based on location. So you get FC dot get transform, get that location. Just a little bit of trigonometry here. Not too complicated. We're just going to use the yaw. So, you know, doing some angular math with the locations. And you can just use teleport here. We're going to create a loop. So yeah, sleep. It's a suspended. So we'll call this like sleepy billboard. That's a funny name. Sleepy billboard. Suspended function. And we're just going to loop this function we just made. And that will work perfectly. Once there is no more billboard, it won't do anything. So it'll just break from that context. So yeah, we'll make sure we spawn it in our enable function. So spawn sleepy billboard. And it looks great. Make sure in our purchase function, we remove this billboard. So first we're going to get our Tycoon manager, and we're going to set the available billboards plus equal to array, And this is going to have our billboard that we were stealing. So cur billboard. And that means it's returned to the device. The device can use it now since it's no longer being used by this module. Pretty cool, pretty epic. What else? So we have attempt to purchase. We have the purchasing effect. We have billboards being transported. We have the base prop being spawned. We have our Tycoon module, which contains our currency index, our, a lot of the stuff that we need. All of the stuff that we need. And the manager, of course, which has the currencies, it has the registered triggers, it has the billboards, it has available billboards, it has purchasing prop, can't purchase prop, registering players, and we have the currency class, which is used to manage currencies. Stores currency per player, it's easy to get from. So I guess now we can place down the devices and get it done. So very simple. You open up, go to creative devices, and you're going to place down a Tycoon manager first. Tycoon manager. Currency manager, of course, which you'll use to manage a currency, obviously. So slot that in there. You're going to want your register trigger. Really simple. Billboards, I would probably have like a few billboards. Remember, this is per Tycoon, per like single Tycoon area. So, have as many as you need. If there's a point where your thing has like 20 billboards that it needs to have, find the point where it has the most amount of billboards and then base it off of that. Just be simple. Now the module, very simple. You're going to be creating a lot of modules, so just be consistent and probably layer them like this. So layer them like a tree, and you have these nodes, and then you have its outputs and its inputs. Now, of course, you'll have some that kind of like layer over each other, where the inputs kind of go into other outputs, or things can get complicated. I just say just try to organize them the best you can, like in this method. Otherwise, you might get a little bit lost. You might be hard to pinpoint issues with the experience, and it's not horrible, but you just put in your inputs here. Super easy. Connect them like that. You have your outputs. Super easy. Connect them like that. And of course, you have your Tycoon manager. Pretty epic. Which is just a tag. You got to put the tag in there. It's very simple. And you have the triggers to add additional effects and enable additional effects. That's pretty simple to do. Enable that game start, also very simple. You have price here, and you can already code the benefits you get for purchasing it. All right. What else can I say? Huh. Well, okay, so if you want to copy this module, like when you have multiplayer experience, you have multiple Tycoon areas, of course. All you have to do is select all these verse devices, and you can literally copy it, and everything will be connected already. So I'll copy it here, pull it out. You're going to get a bit of lag because, a lot of things at once is kind of crazy. But you will see it's actually automatically connected, which is awesome. They are all automatically connected. That is the dream. And it works. Look at that. Okay, wait. Actually, yeah, copy and pasting doesn't seem to work because it seems to automatically connect to already connected ones. So that might be rough. When I reach the next episode, though, I will probably be basing this on a tag system. So you'll have a tag for each player, like player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. And that way the device will already know what to recognize. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Um, so let me run the servers real quick. Man, I could go for some Whataburger right now. Oh, I could go for some Whataburger for sure. Man. Ooh, Whataburger. Double meat Whataburger with cheese, bacon, pickles. Ooh. Oh man, I could eat a Whataburger right now. Dr. Pepper too. Ooh, that'd be so nice. Wow. I should get some Whataburger. That would be nice. Okay, so we're in. Um, Let me just start the game. I know it's very bare bones right now, obviously. I just have like a few modules connected to it, so it's not going to be anything special. Of course, I'll show you how to connect the UI to it, but the UI is very simple. You just use what I've already created in this tutorial link right here. Check out that tutorial, and it's not easy. It's not difficult to link to it, but if you need help, I'll do that in the part two. Um, but the core functionality of the Tycoon is right here. You'll see if I walk up to here, I don't have any money, so I'm just gonna press this button to grant me money. And yeah, you'll see I purchased that. Now it opened the other three that I connected to it. And now those are available for purchase. I don't have enough money, so I'm gonna go over here, click on more, click on that one, and it purchases that. Purchases that one. And now that I purchased that one, my fourth branch, which is connected to those inputs, just got activated. So very awesome system, very modular, very easy to deal with. Just really great all around. So if you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing, leaving a like. Like I said, this is like the most requested tutorial, so I'm so glad I finally got to do it for y'all. I've been super busy with work, and I don't have all the time in the world. So I'm so glad that I got this done for y'all. And I'll have part two out soon, discussing all these fixes, and um, yeah, just have a great day and good luck creating. Oh my gosh. April Fools.